Let me spin your yarn, an epic tale of middle school and the coolest game possible to ever play for free. Runescape. What's up, guys? It's JZNES back again with another video. Today, here we're talking about Runescape. Now, we're only talking about the free-to-play stuff. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about membership of what I remember. Because I was a member for like a little bit, like in high school, but RuneScape was this game that like, I remember like 7th grade or something, this kid Dylan Ruser, who you guys won't know, but if you do, hey, or if he's watching, hey, started telling everyone about this game. And I don't know if he's where it originated, but he was the one that I remember telling people at my school about this fucking game. And you know, I listened to this game and I'm like, oh my god, this sounds fucking awesome. And you know, I loved RPGs. I loved Pokemon. I loved Dragon Quest. I think at the time, yeah, definitely at the time I knew Dragon Quest and stuff. I don't think I had gone as hard on Dragon Quest and Pokemon yet, but I loved Pokemon. You know, I like RPGs. Point being, so when I heard about this game and everyone's like, yeah, it's this free to play and it's an MMO and it's free. It's fucking free and you can download it and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, is my shitty old computer gonna be able to like handle this? And then lo and behold, it's like a game with like minimalistic graphics and you can play on a browser pretty much anywhere. It's the perfect combination. It is the coolest game to a middle schooler, you know, like myself, or an elementary school kid. It would have been very cool for that. But holy shit, everyone was fucking talking about it, and I'm like, I've got to go home and start up this game right now. And I did. And it was awesome. And I met friends on there who I no longer know, but, you know, not like real friends, but like, I don't know, there was this one guy who kind of ended up stabbing me in the back later and taking my account, my original account, that is. Even though that account wasn't too crazy, like, or good or anything, but I did spend a lot of time on it back in the day. It was like one of my go-to video games to play was RuneScape. Especially because I've talked about it in the past where I was grounded all the time and I would have, you know, all my systems taken away. Well, they can't take away the computer. I mean, they can stop me from getting on the computer, but, you know, a lot of times they didn't. So it would just be on there and I'd be playing RuneScape instead, you know, so that was cool. Yeah, so I played it, and I didn't really play with anybody from school. I don't remember playing with anybody from there very often, but yeah, so, but anyway, so there was this kid, or this guy, I don't know, fucking, well, okay, so let me, sorry, shit. I don't remember a lot about my initial run through the game, but I do have memories of it. Like, I remember doing a lot of the free-to-play quests, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Specifically one that, like, when I was replaying it just now, and the reason I got back into it just now was I was seeing some videos. Actually, it was Aqua FPS, if you know that channel. I think it was also Aqua, the channel, obviously, not the Aqua FPS channel. My brother watches him. We watch him together sometimes. Anyway, he was playing RuneScape, and I'm like, ah, fuck, I remember RuneScape. I loved RuneScape, you know, like back when I was in like middle school. And it's one of these games I just kind of gave up, you know. A lot like, this is one of those obsessions I used to have. A lot like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like Pokemon. So I come back into it and get out of it again. You know, I have to like re-quit things. I mean, we played World of Warcraft back in the day too, but I'm not ever going back to that game. I have no interest in doing that, but I love RuneScape, and I definitely am considering playing further, you know, getting a membership and doing some of that. But really when I'm like a couple games ahead for the channel or something, I don't want to just like totally torch fire my entire life playing this game, you know, like I've done it before, so not like, it wasn't too bad, but I mean, WoW was certainly addicting back in the day. Anyway, point being, I'm going all over the place here. RuneScape. So I played it in middle school for a couple of years, and I must have been playing it in high school, like at least early high school, because I remember well, gosh, I can't even remember if that was my like main account or like what happened there. But at some point, this guy that I had met, Goldblade13 was his username. I don't know, like the only reason I remember that so well is because like we used to hang out on there all the time, and we would run around and just like do stuff. And I think at one point he was a member and I wasn't or something. So like he could do all this cool stuff, but like I couldn't, you know. But like even without membership, it was still like a fun fucking game to run around. And even without the membership, the world is like decently big, you know. Like there's at least like, let's see, let's count them. We got Lumbridge, we got Varrock, we got Falador, you got Rimington, I think it is. What a fucking stupid name. Port Sarum, that's like 5, 6. Edgeville or whatever. That's another one. Draenor Village. So that's like 8. That's like 8 towns. And the desert one, Al-Kharid or whatever. That's 9 towns that you can go to, and there's all these like different content and stuff there. And you have like 20 or so free-to-play quests that you can do that all take like a decent amount of time. Like some of them you can do pretty fast if you know what you're doing, but they added a couple more like after I stopped playing. Like there's a Scream related quest. It was based on like Scream, like you know, like the horror movie series or whatever. So that was a quest. They sure as hell didn't have that one back in the day, as far as I remember. Which, no, they couldn't have, because I did do all of the quests back then. I remember, I actually remember when I first finished Dragon Slayer, it took me forever to fucking beat that quest. And this time around I had a memory unlocked, on the earlier part of that quest. That's such a great quest. That's the perfect ending to the free-to-play quests. Definitely my favorite quest out of all of the free-to-play ones. Because it's like, all the other ones are fine. You know, there's a lot of good ones, and there's like a lot of okay ones, but like, that one feels like a fucking quest, you know? Like it has all this lore behind it. It starts off and you have to do like 4 or 5 different things, because you have to like get these 3 parts of this map. So you have to like go talk to this goblin, who like, you have to pay him a bunch of money to do it, or I think there's another way to do it too. And then you go to this like house that's like this maze with like all these keys, and you have to defeat all these like pretty strong enemies, you know, to get these keys or whatever. But you have to like know specifically which enemy to defeat in each room to be able to like keep progressing or whatever. And then there's like also like fixing the boat and all of that stuff. The other piece of the map was somewhere else too. I can't remember specifically where, but and you have to go get that dragon shield. You have to do a bunch of stuff. It's cool. And every time you're going and talking to these people, they're like getting through another stage of the quest, you get this lore about this dragon like that destroyed this island, and everyone's just like, oh, don't do it. Don't go fight the dragon. You know, you're gonna die or whatever. And you're just like, nah, fuck it. I got it. I'm gonna go fight this dragon. You know, basically. The whole thing is like, like you basically go to this guy and you're like, hey, can you make me rune plate body armor or whatever? And he's just like, fuck no, not unless you go slay this like impossibly fucking crazy dragon that destroyed this whole island and stuff. And you're just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do that, you know. But like, whereas like most quests in the game kind of feel like silly, or they have like a silly element to it, the game has like a lot of humor, and that's like a good piece of what the game is its charm, you know. It's not winning any awards for graphics or anything, but I love how it looks. I think it looks really cool. It's that very nostalgic like PS1 sort of like style of this polygonal kind of look to it, and I am all about art styles. I like that better than like a lot of modern games. Like a lot of them suck. You know, like the graphics, they try to make it look too real, and it's like, who cares? Stop doing that. Make your game look artistically cool. The music's also very good. It's so many good jams, you know. Of course, everyone knows the Sea Shanty 2 or whatever, but like this is a good track, you know, like every town has a good track. The world has a good track. It's an epic soundtrack, you know. You really feel like you're this awesome adventurer out on a quest, you know, and it's so cool. It's great, and it doesn't like bog you down like World of Warcraft does or something. It's always sort of lighthearted. There's a lot of lightheartedness to it, but also it knows when it can be serious, like this Dragon Slayer quest. You know, it gets really serious with its like, and they spruce some humor in there too, obviously, but with the lore and stuff, you're just like, wow, this is like legitimate, like a legitimate story that they're actually trying to tell here. Not that the other quests didn't have that, but it's like, it's even bigger and bolder. It's the perfect like end quest because it's like, it's suddenly like this whole bigger picture thing. It's like crazy, you know. It's just it's cool. I like it. If you couldn't tell, this is my favorite quest in the game. But it's kind of difficult, you know, like if you're not prepared and if you're a stupid middle schooler who doesn't know what the fuck, you know, they're doing, it can be really difficult. One of the things I think, if I remember correctly, that I fucked up on in my initial run was I think I remember not leveling strength much. I just wanted to get attack leveled, so I could wield, you know, like the rune, like swords and stuff. And, you know, when you go into the strength, it's just like hammers and stuff. It's like, okay, this is very niche. You don't really need to do this. Turns out the mechanics of the game are, and it's really cool. I know a lot of people talked about this. It's really cool how you can kind of level a lot of different things. You don't really have to like commit to a class like right away or whatever, you know. You just kind of level everything you want to level, and we'll talk about all the leveling and all that later. But so the way combat works, though, with your stats anyway, the way combat works is you just go and click on the enemy and then you fight, and that's it. Based on your weapon, you get like certain bonuses and stuff. I don't really know a whole lot about like all of that. Obviously, there's like, you know, it's like, it's like every other RPG where just kind of like, you know, you get certain attack bonuses for using said weapon, and if you level the right stats and whatever, your bonuses can be even better if you're attacking in the right style. So there's four kinds of styles. So there's attack style, which will level your attack, strength style, which will level your strength. There's one that has the combination of those two, and then there's the defense style, which levels your defense. So defense will allow you to equip better gear and armor and whatnot. Attack lets you wield better swords and whatnot. And there's all sorts of, there's like a tier system basically of these things. So like it all kind of interconnects, which is great. That's what I like. So like there's bronze, then there's iron, then there's steel, and then there's mithril, adamant, and rune, and then there's dragon, but you don't get to do that in free to play. So those 7 or 6 or 7 if you want to count dragon, that's probably what I was counting, tiers are like each set of armor, and you can craft that kind of stuff if you have high enough smithing, and you can farm the materials for that if you have a high enough mining level. So that's cool, you know. It really does take you a long time to be able to smith or mine. To be able to smith like rune stuff is like level 99 in that. It's like it's insane, you know. Not really worth the hassle in my opinion, but it is cool that all of those kind of, they use the same system as like your upgrade system. So similarly, you have armor sets for all of that. You have like attack, like swords and scimitars, and you know, all of that in bronze, iron, steel, etc., etc. So, you know, by the end there, at least a free to play, your highest one's gonna be rune. So that's cool. But anyway, point being, going back to the stats, so the attack stat, which you think would be kind of like in every other game where your attack stat raises your attack, so you do more damage every time you hit an enemy, isn't that at all. It's actually an accuracy stat, which is very misleading. And I didn't know this as a stupid kid, because I saw attack, and like in every other RPG ever, I'm like, oh, attack. That's the thing that raises your attack. Not at all. It raises your accuracy for each attack. Now the strength, which I neglected to level, actually raises the amount of damage you will do for every attack. So it's split up into two. So that made it kind of hard for me to do the Dragon Slayer stuff back then. I had to like re-level all of strength, basically, if I remember correctly, at least on that playthrough. I do think I did have a second character like later on, because of the Gold Blade situation. That guy, we hung out a lot, and he was a really cool guy. Until one time, like way down the line, he basically took my main account. Yeah, that's what it was. I did have side accounts, and I think one of those is what I used in high school whenever I was playing then. But I fell for one of the old scams, you know, where you tell somebody your password or some shit. I don't remember why I did it, but, you know, whatever. I trusted the guy, and he betrayed me, I guess, or maybe it was somebody else, you know, like had hacked into his thing and was trying to steal from me or whatever. I don't know. That was no fun, though. I spent a lot of time on that first account, and, yeah, that kind of really sucked. So, anyway, yeah, so I had a really tough time with the Dragon Slayer the first time around. I died a fuck ton of times on that shit, and, a lot of that was also because I had, like, weak, fishing stats. I mean, I was training fishing, but everything in this game takes a long time. If it tells you anything, I spent 77 hours on this game in the past 29 days. So, first of all, that should tell you how addicting this game is, which it totally is. Also, they have a mobile version of the game now, which is great, because that means that just like when I'm sitting there watching something, or like me and my friends were hanging out the other time we were watching a movie, I was farming combat strength levels, you know, whilst watching the movie, because all you have to do is click, alright, wait, and you just like, oh, okay, click. You know, it's really easy, and it takes very little of your time. As long as you can be like half focused on something, you're not like a fucking giant hurry, you can do a lot in that game, like very AFK as they call it, away from keyboard, but you know, it's not even a keyboard anymore, it's like a fucking touchscreen and shit. And the mobile version's good. It works pretty well for the most part. There's a couple of features in it that you can't do, and of course the screen is a lot smaller, so it gets kind of frustrating sometimes. But, like if I was playing on my iPad or something, that would be really cool. I'd have to actually fucking pull out my iPad and like do all of that though. Also, what's nice is, as long as I'm not on my computer playing, I can just log in there, and it doesn't ask me for a password or anything. It just logs in, and it knows exactly my account and everything, and it just picks up like that. It's so seamless. It's great. I love it. I had some like server issues a couple of times. I used to have server issues back in the day all the time, but you know, the internet was a little weaker back then and whatnot. But that was a little bit frustrating because I just wanted to play the game, because I was just like so ready to play the game. But you know, like so that was like maybe one downside, but like I think that was just like some updates or maintenance or something. I don't know. So not really on the game for that one. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was Dragon Slayer. I know, for like the 50th time. That one took me a lot of time back in the day. I remember the time I finally beat it too. I was at my cousin's house, and I was playing there. Because you can play this game from any fucking computer, you know, because it's very you didn't have to download it, which was great. You know, it was a web browser game, and that was what was cool about it. You just get on, as long as you have internet, you can just log on, good to go. You don't have to download it or anything. So that's great. So I was at my cousin's house playing the game, and my brother was sitting there, like watching TV or something, and we were the only two there. And I remember this. I remember it was funny because I was like trying to play it off like, oh yeah, this is just some baby game that, like, you know, oh yeah, look how lame it is, right? Or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just gotta beat this dragon, and then I'm fucking done playing this stupid game. Which is not true at all. I mean, I loved the game back then, you know, but I had to play it off like I was being so cool or something at the time. But anyway, I kept dying there, and he kept being like, oh no, you gotta, like, use the potion, use the, like, the food and whatever, and yeah, so, I remember I was sitting there, and then I eventually fucking finally beat it, which was great. So that was fun. I always will have that memory of that, you know, beating it there. Because that was the last quest, obviously, I had to do. What's interesting about that quest is that it requires quest points. Sometimes quests have requirements to do them. It requires quest points, and you get quest points from doing quests, obviously. But you need like 33 or 32, I think, to enter the Adventurers Guild so that you can start the quest. So it was like, obviously, one of the last quests you can start on a free-to-play account. You could probably get to it a lot faster on a member account, but also, like, it's kind of a mid-game kind of quest, or at least for a free-to-play player, it's the end game kind of quest, you know, so... So yeah, I mean, like, back in the day, it was like a big deal to kill that dragon. So I knew this time around I needed to be prepared. So I leveled my attack, my strength, and my defense all, you know, together, obviously. And then after I figured that out back in the day, I did start leveling them all together. People gave me shit about that. At least a couple people on there, they're like, why are you leveling all of these? You just need to level this one and this one. The other one's useless or whatever. It's like, none of them are useless. And I was smart for doing that. But those players had like a lot higher levels on specific stats because of just doing that stat. So that was kind of impressive. And your combat level, which is your like level overall, which isn't actually linked to a lot of other stats. It's just linked to those three stats, and then I guess prayer, for some reason, which is kind of like a magic stat. It's almost like a healing stat, but it's like, it's not really that. I mean, there are some restorative things in there, but you can never really heal in this game or like revive yourself. It was all, prayer is all like stuff like, buff your attack, buff your defense, you know, heal a little bit faster, like, cause you gain, oh nice, it's the desert, you gain back like 1 hit point every minute or something like that. So obviously that's not a really good way to do gain back health. You know, but fishing and cooking are two stats that really gain you back health. Cooking, there are things that you can cook like with flour and stuff and like water and other things like that, like pies and stuff. But that's not what a lot of people do. A lot of people just use cooking in combination with... Cooking is kind of the smithing to the mining skill, you know? They're very hand in hand. Like, hand in hand. No, shut up. That's Gray Fox. Anyway, so... Cooking kind of goes like right along with fishing. You know, you catch all these raw fish, and you can catch better and better fish as you go along. And then cooking, you can cook better and better fish as you go along with that. And you're going to cook the fish that you catch, because then you can use them and eat them or whatnot and gain back health. So that's kind of your health thing, is you need to gather up a bunch of fish and take them with you into combat and just eat it. But you only have 28 inventory slots, so you have to be really careful. Obviously, all of your armor and gear and stuff go onto your person in specific slots that aren't related to your 28 slots. But, yeah, you gotta be careful. So, that all being said, originally, I didn't have a very good fishing either, so I didn't have, like, lobster. I think I had, like, salmon or tuna or something going in there to fight Elvarog. Elvarog? Whatever his name is, the dragon. So, obviously I got my ass kicked. I even got, like, pretty owned when I went in there this time. Like, his first... Oh, this is it. C-Shanty 2. This is the classic song everyone loves and knows. Here, let's jam to this for a second. It's such a chipper tune. Gotta love it. Anyway, classic RuneScape music. You know, it's great. The music is great. So, anyway, when I finally got in there, I was very cautious was my point. I was leveling everything. I wanted to get good armor and stuff to go in there. For the most part through the game, I mean, I had like a chainmail body or chain body or whatever that is called, like the rectangular one, not like the big, you know, plate. Obviously, I couldn't get that until after the quest. But I liked that. I thought the aesthetic on that was better. I had the plate skirt. I had the like, for the most part of the game, I didn't have like all of these really defensive things. I had like a cape, but for vanity. I had these boots, but for vanity. All of it was purple, because purple's like my favorite color. So, you know, it was all more visual. Like, I had a tiara, because, like, it looked cool. But when I go to fight the dragon, I'm gonna need better gear. You know, I want more defensive stuff, so I bought, like, a helmet, like a... I don't like those because they, like, cover up your character's head, you know? And even, like, the medium helm also covers up your character's head. So, like, I don't know. They need to do something, like, to make a different kind that doesn't, like, cover up your entire head so that you can see yourself. Because, especially in the little, like, dialogue things, I like seeing, like, my face and my head part. So... And I always looked good. But, you know, like, going to fight the dragon, we gotta get serious here. We need good armor and stuff. So I kept all of the good stuff, and then I put on a helmet. I took the boots from the Stronghold Security quest, because they give you a little bit more defense or something like that. Yeah. So I was ready. I went in there. I was so nervous, though, because I'm like, did I level enough? Is this going to be enough? I was so nervous. I didn't want to die and lose all of my gear. Luckily, I found out, and I knew this, like, back in the day, obviously. I didn't remember if it was like this or not. If you are dying, you can, if you're near the entrance, you can run out. You can escape the place where you fight in, the area where you're fighting him. And then just, like, run away, which is great. So I jump in there, and I'm so fucking nervous. And I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. Everyone online says it's fine. I've got a full inventory of lobster and, like, 3 strength potions. Because I remember that back in the day, I would use those. That was actually kind of the problem, was I wasn't using my strength potions. And that's why I couldn't defeat him back in the day. So... yeah, so I went in there, and his first barrage of attacks were just so fucking hard hitting. They were doing like 10 damage, like every like second or something, like every 2 seconds or however fast his fucking attacks were. And you know, I don't have that much life. I have like 30, almost 40 life. I think I had 39 life. So that's like 4 hits and I'm dead, you know? Luckily I had the anti-dragon shield, which if you just bring a regular shield in there, you get even fucking more obliterated. So I realized the problem was, and I jumped out. I did a little bit of damage to him, and then I jumped out because I realized, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for this, you know. But I healed myself. I mentally composed myself, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to see how good defensive attacks would be. Because that would maybe help shield some of the blow. So I jumped back in there, and it definitely helped a lot more. So that's pro tip right there. If an enemy's doing super big damage to you. There's also a system in the game where melee armor and stuff, so like, you know, like the attack, strength, defense, all of those stats, and like, let's say you have like all of the armor sets that I have and stuff, that's weak to magic, and then magic is strong against that, obviously, and then range stuff like bows and stuff are strong against magic. So it's a trinity of weaknesses and stuff there. And so if you're wearing like rune armor and stuff, whilst trying to use magic, your magic actually is weaker. So you want to be wearing like wizard robes and stuff. Similar, I'm sure, with bows and whatnot, which I never used really throughout this game. I know I'm gonna probably have to do that if I do some member stuff, which I've definitely considered doing at some point. Like I said, I do want to I want to make sure I have kind of a cushion set up for this channel before I start jumping into that, to where you know, so I can have videos go up and not be so distracted. But anyway, and I want to do that down the line. I want to play other games in the meantime. I've got other games I want to play, so I want to do some of that first. But when I do jump into it, I know like fletching and like, you know, the arrow, the ranged attack thing is an important skill to have, because certain enemies are weak to it. So anyway, point being of all of that, I didn't even finish my Dragon Slayer story because I keep getting distracted with these little extra bits of the other skills and whatever, which I do want to just talk about here in a second, but I want to finish talking about Dragon Slayer first. I go in there and I start using the defense thing, and it's working a lot better, and I get down to my last few lobsters, and I'm like, I almost have him. Like, I can see the end, you know? Like, he's doing a lot of damage, but, like, less than before, and he's got, like, 4 hit points left, out of, like 80 or something. And I get, boom, slash, done. Fuck yeah, motherfucker, he's dead. Get down, bitch. You know what? Beat him. Beat him first try. First fucking try, I beat him. So that was crazy to me. I loved that. This is the perfect ending. It shows how much how far I've come as a gamer. So that was fun. But yeah, here, I can actually just, let's get on here and I can just, I'll just do this. That way you can't hear the music clashing or whatever. Because I want to look at these quests, and I'm going to see if I have anything else to, like, that I want to talk about feature-wise and whatnot. Obviously I want to talk about the skills and stuff, but, oh yeah, so before we talk about that, there's this thing called the Grand Exchange in the game, which is like, you know, it's like your market thing where people put up items and you can buy them, and then, like, you can also sell items there. That's how you're gonna make, like, a fuck ton of money. Let me save you some time right now. Get into mining and go mine coal. I know there's always people on the coal, but you need to go mine coal because coal is fucking valuable. You need coal, a shit ton of coal, for everything steel and up, you know, so steel, mithril, adamant, and rune. Anytime you're making any of those, plus other things, you need coal, plus like iron, or plus like mithril, adamant, rune, you know, material. So, get steel, get as much of that as you can, and sell it on the Grand Exchange, and you will make a lot of money. That's how I made a lot of my money, to be able to afford rune stuff. I didn't know that shit back in the day. I didn't know it was valuable, and even if I did, I think back then, the worlds were even more clogged with people. So, you know, what do you do, right? So that's a pro tip, though. There's lots of ways to make money in the game, especially if you're a member, but that's one that I found that I really, I mean, enjoyed. Yeah, I mean, it's fast, you know, it's faster than a lot of other methods. I know there's better methods, but I thought that was a pretty good method there. So, anyway, I got distracted. Okay, we want to talk about the quests. Let's do the quests in order. I want to talk about each of them and just see, you know, kind of like episodes. That's kind of what it is. So I'm gonna do them in alphabetical order. There's the quest below Ice Mountain, which you need to go and assemble a bunch of people, if I remember correctly, and then you go to Ice Mountain and you fight this boss in there. I think I did this pretty low level because I remember seeing the boss, and you can do this thing with the boss as long as you have, like, I think the proper level of mining or whatever. You can destroy the 4 pillars of the room and they just fall down on him and he dies, basically. They kind of just leave you, your people who, like, wanted to break into this place, to die with this guy. But you get to steal some money out of their things that they left behind. And then you actually get an area where you can mine, like, blurite and stuff. And then, like, there's a lot of, like, fish and different kinds of stuff back there in Ice Mountain. That's more content that you can do once you do finish the quest. So that one wasn't so hard, as long as you know what you're doing, kind of thing. Black Knight's Fortress is another, like, pretty classic quest, I guess. It's not that hard. It takes like 5 minutes if you know, like, what you're doing. But, you know, still pretty cool. You go and you infiltrate this Black Knight's Fortress. You need the proper attire, so you need iron chainmail, I believe, and a bronze helm. And then you have to, like, sneak past these guards and stuff, and then listen in on this witch who's gonna basically make this potion that, like, I don't even remember what it does. I think it's like invulnerability or something. It's like, you know, basically they're making a potion that's, like, gonna make them unstoppable or whatever. And the only way to screw it up is to throw a cabbage that's not from Draenor area into the pot there. So that's what you have to do. You have to go and throw a cabbage in there, and that screws up their whole plan. And that's the whole quest. It's still fun though, like finding your way around the Black Knight's Fortress there. I like it. I think it's a pretty good quest overall. And it's got a little bit of that silly humor with the characters there, like the witches and like the guards when you're, like, trying to break in there. But you gotta be wary of the Black Knights. Not that you have to fight any, but, like, on your way to where you need to be, a lot of them will try to kill you. So either be ready to run or just, like, be a good level enough. But if you know what you're doing with that quest, it really does not take that long. For me, it was just finding my way through there, because there's, like, secret doors and stuff behind walls, which was kind of the problem of what I was running into, is, like, I didn't know where was the first one to start, so once I got in there. But yeah, it's a pretty good quest overall. I like that one. The classic, probably one of the first quests most people do, Cook's Assistant. You bake a cake, you know, that's the whole quest. You go and you gather flour from nearby. Well, you go get wheat, and then you turn it into flour from the mill there, or whatnot. And then you have to go milk a cow, which is in this cow field near Lumbridge, which is like obviously like a pretty iconic area. You know, killing cows is like one of the original ways to level up your combat and whatnot. You know, and doing that, leveling up combat and stuff, it's not about fighting tough enemies. Really, as far as I understand, it's more about how hard you're hitting. If you hit harder, you're gonna get more experience. So like if you hit a 10, you're gonna get more experience for that. So it really becomes which enemies can take a lot of damage that aren't a threat to you. So like a good place that I found was the Barbarian Village. I would go in there and train on the ones outside, and then once I got a little bit stronger, I trained on the ones inside the bar hall there, or whatever, you know, Valhalla or whatever the fuck. And that gave me a good enough combat to get into like the 40s, obviously. So, and then I fought skeletons for a little while on Cranador there, which is the island with, you know, the dragon and all that for Dragon Slayer and stuff. But yeah, like, if you wanted to, you could just level up by killing those cows the entire time. So the cow hides are actually pretty valuable because you need them for the crafting skill, so it's not a bad way to level up. The only problem is they're not going to take that many hits, so you're going to have to kill a lot of them, you know? So the idea is, if you find an enemy, like, for me, like a lesser demon, who's like level 82, you know, I'm only like level 50, he doesn't hit that hard, and I can put a lot of hits into him, but also that's kind of unnecessary. I feel like just fighting more of like skeletons and stuff was like a better thing, so I didn't have to use as much food and whatnot. So I don't know, I liked that. That's just something to think about. But anyway, the cook's assistant quest is like super easy. It's like one of those very basic first quests there that you have to, you don't have to do any of these quests, but that you can do pretty much right away. I mean, it's in the castle right outside of where you start. Oh, I didn't even talk about Tutorial Island yet. Yeah, so there's an island that you start on that basically shows you all the ropes of the game. It's pretty cool. You know, it's nothing too crazy, but it's charming like the rest of the game. You know, it's very cool. I mean, the game wouldn't be the same without Tutorial Island. Apparently, at one point they took out Tutorial Island, but it's always got a good nostalgic vibe to it. Tutorial Island also, so I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, Cook's Assistant quest is a good one. You know, it's a good basic starter quest. All you have to do is make a cake. You know, teaches you how the cooking stuff works. Probably for the thing you'll use it for the least, because like I said earlier, you usually just cook fish, and that's the better thing to do, because you get a lot of that. You don't have to run around trying to get a bunch of different materials and whatnot, so let's see. That's another thing about the game. It logged you out if you're not in there for long enough, so I just got logged out. Alright, so after Cook's Assistant is Corsair Curse. Which is this? Corsair Okay. You know, I think this is the one that was the Scream-inspired quest. It's cool because it is kind of a callback to, the game is very point-and-click-esque, but it's kind of a callback to that quest specifically. Because a lot of things in the game you just kind of point-and-click on to do anything with it, so it's kind of, you know, less you moving around and stuff. Literally, the entire game is used through this, and these right here to change the camera around you so that you can see better. That's it. That's literally all you have to use, specifically. And so that very much translates super well to mobile as well. But yeah, so I think this is the one. You basically go on this ship that's like south of the starting area there, and you go off to this island and you just solve this mystery. You know, it's like a classic slasher movie mystery. You're in this mansion and you keep seeing people get killed. And at the end, spoilers for RuneScape, I guess, by the way. At the end, you find out it was like 2 of the people who got killed earlier, like, which of course is like classic Scream stuff. Pretty cool quest, decent enough quest. I don't think any of the quests are necessarily bad, as far as I'm like thinking of. We'll see what I think here in a second. Actually, that's not what that was. That was the Mistland Mysteries, that one. I remember what Corsair Cove was now. So there's this area that's like very west on the map. It's like below Falador there. And you take this ship to this island, and these guys think that they're cursed the whole time, because they think there's like 3 different reasons they think they're cursed. There's like one thinks he got possessed by this doll. Another one thinks because he stole this like artifact from these giants that he was cursed because of that. And the other one was like something to do with the food or something, I think. So like they all think that they're cursed, but like the artifact just ends up being a toothpick. The doll is just like a little wind-up doll kind of thing. You know, it's all really stupid stuff, and you slowly realize that they're not cursed. But then like the captain's like, oh well, they got poisoned, so you end up finding out it was like this guy who poisoned the food. I don't remember if we find out why he did that, if it was just like laziness or whatnot. So they wouldn't have to work and they can just pretend to be cursed the whole time or something. I don't know. Anyway, at the end of the mission, you have to fight this guy. He's like level 30 something. He actually put up a pretty good fight. Pretty challenging. I did die to him once because I didn't have enough food. But you know, I just went and got food and then ran back there and kicked his ass. So that was fun. Yeah, so not a terrible quest. That one has... It's probably one of my less favorite ones because it has a lot of just running back and forth between these people. But it's a very story-intensive quest, or like character-based. Not there's like character arcs or anything, but like you kind of get a story told to you. It's less about like going off and doing a bunch of action or whatever, or finding things or anything like that. So it's alright. It's an okay quest, but it's not one of my favorites. Yeah, so sorry, I mixed that up with the other one. Demon Slayer is a quest where you have to go through a bunch of stuff to get this sword called Silverlight in order to slay this demon. Because these like monks are resurrecting one outside of Varrock there, and you can see them doing this like as you enter the town there. So I don't remember specifically what you have to do to go and get Silverlight. You have to like something to do with the castle behind there or something, if I remember correctly. But yeah, once you get it, you just go kill a demon. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good quest. Pretty enjoyable. One of the more memorable ones. The demon's pretty easy if you have Silverlight. He goes down pretty fast. So, yeah. Doric's quest, which, if I remember correctly, it's just you trying to help this dwarf out. You go and get him some materials, and he lets you use his anvil at the end. That's pretty much the whole quest. But you know, it's an alright one. It's pretty easy. Not too terribly tricky if I remember correctly. So yeah. But it gives you a lot of mining experience too, which is also a reason to do it. I already talked about Dragon Slayer. It's called Dragon Slayer 1, by the way, because there's a second one, apparently. Ernest the Chicken is a good quest. So, a very similar mansion thing to the other one that I talked about earlier, but one of the classic things, I always remember like hanging out in this mansion trying to figure out the switch puzzle or whatever for the doors. I remember doing that back in the day. Like I have memories of that. But yeah, at Draenor Manor there, there's also a vampire, which we'll talk about here in a bit, because that's a different quest. But anyway, this guy got turned into a chicken, this guy Ernest. So you have to like go and gather a bunch of materials like I can't remember what they all were, but like it's kind of another very point-and-click inspired quest, like, you know, the old point-and-click games. It feels a lot like that, interpreted in a RuneScape way. Like, you have to get this poison to pour into this water where these fish are, out in this fountain, out in the yard there, so that the fish die, so that you can get the thing that's in there, like this tube or something. I think the tube is in a different room, but it's just all this stuff you need to make this machine run again, so that the guy can turn back from a chicken. So it's got that humor, but it's also got that puzzle-solving aspects to it. And I like that. A lot of the RuneScape puzzles are actually pretty cool. They're not super hard or anything, but they have like kind of interesting ways. They're very solvable. You know, you just go there and you kind of play around with some stuff, and then you figure it out. You know. So it feels very Maniac Mansion inspired, should we say? And I like that, because I like that game. You know, so that's a good one. I think that's a pretty top tier free-to-play quest there. Goblin Diplomacy, which is like kind of an annoying quest, just for the fact that you need to gather a bunch of materials so that this witch in the Draenor village there, just like so that she can make these dyes, she needs all these materials, and you have to keep dyeing this armor because the goblins are fighting about the armor color. But what really annoys me about the quest isn't even just like getting all the materials for the dyes, it's the fact that the goblin armor is so hard to find. They give you one to start that's like in the village there, and then they keep asking for more armor, but they don't provide the armor for you, so you either have to go and kill goblins just randomly, and they only sometimes drop it. It's like a pretty rare goblin drop, the armor. Which sucks, because like that's what I had to do the last time, was just like go and kill random goblins until it finally fucking dropped, and I was so ecstatic that I could finish this stupid quest, you know? So definitely one of the less favorite ones because of that, but also it is pretty funny how they keep... It's funny, but it also is kind of annoying how they keep asking you to switch colors and stuff, and there's just a lot of good humor in the quest too. So I like it, but like at the same time, trying to find the goblin male is a little bit annoying. Maybe I'm missing something, you know, but so yeah, so it's kind of a mid quest for me. Imp Catcher is a pretty hard quest actually, because it's all based on random chance. Now there's a lot of imps that you'll see throughout the world, and if you kill them, sometimes, even before you start the quest, sometimes they'll drop these beads, and these beads are a little bit valuable. They're like, I don't know, a few hundred coins. It's not that much, but, you know, like, for a new player, it's cool to get that and sell that, which I shouldn't have done, because I should have kept them for the quest. Anyway, you kill these imps all over the world, and sometimes they'll drop these beads, and you need to get the 4 different colors of beads. Well, it turns out that, like, I could not get the red bead to save my life. It was like, I could always get the white, yellow, and black ones, but I could never get that red one. And then when that finally dropped, I, like, lost my mind, but it took forever. It's more of a quest that's meant to be played over a while, I feel like. as you're running around the game, you know, you're gonna see these imps, and then you're gonna be like, ah, imp! And then you want to go kill the imp. It gives you a purpose to killing imps, you know? They also drop ashes, which are a better alternative to bones, or a stronger... It gives you more prayer experience, was my point there. You get bones from every enemy that you can bury to level up your prayer experience. Apparently if you bury them at altars, that does more. I should have done that, but I always just kind of bury them right away. So... I don't know. Anyway, so, what was I saying? Yes, Imp Catcher. So that was kind of an annoying quest, because I kept trying to find the fucking red bead. It just took forever, and it was another one of those moments of like, ah, I did it! And like, finally, there's the fucking red bead! I freaked out when I found it. It was crazy. But, you know, like, it gives you something to do, and it gives you a purpose to, trying to, like, it gives the imps a purpose throughout the world, so that's kind of nice. It gives you something to look forward to, whenever you see that enemy. They're a little bit annoying, though, because they do teleport, and then you have to, like, follow them and stuff. And if you run after them, you can usually catch up to them, but the running mechanic in this game is kind of broken, so, for a purpose. Yeah, it's broken because they want you to pay for the game. If you have a membership, you can train agility, which lets you run better and stuff. But the running runs out super fast. And also I figured out that you run worse when you have a bunch of armor and stuff on, which of course I always had on. So that's another thing. If you want to be faster, take off all your armor and put it in the bank or something. So like if you're trying to like do a mining run and you have to run back to a bank a bunch of times, like, just be sure you're not wearing a bunch of stuff. That's why the bots are always, like, not decked out in a bunch of stuff. Also because, you know, like, they didn't get a bunch of stuff. They're just there to farm levels or farm materials or whatever, so for money, I guess. So, yeah, so there's that. Knight's Sword. That's, it's not that hard of a quest, if I remember right. Again, it's kind of like the Doric quest where you just need to go and gather materials. It's pretty decent, you know, not too bad of a quest. Pretty beginner level quest. So yeah, pretty good quest, you know, not too bad. Then we have the mystery quest that I talked about earlier, the Scream inspired one. And then we have Pirate's Treasure, which... Oh, okay. Well, wait. No, but then there's also X marks the spot. Pirate's Treasure. What was Pirate's Treasure? Oh, yeah, I can scroll up. Oh, okay, yeah. Pirate's Treasure is... You know, and something else I noticed was a lot of the quests in this game involve you getting people drunk. Or, like, something to that effect, you know, you going and getting them, like, rum, or you getting them, like, beers or something. There's this one... Oh, it was, I think it was... Pretty sure it was the Silverlight quest, where you have to go to this guy at this bar, and he's like, I'll tell you we're Silverlighters, but you need to buy me a beer first. And it's like, okay, like, you know, imagine playing this game as, like, a fucking middle school kid, you know, and you're just like, man, this game has a lot of references to alcohol in it, you know. Anyway, in the Pirate's Treasure, you have to go to, Kamjara, I think? It's like the jungle-inspired island. And you have to smuggle back, rum in banana crates. Sounds like that AVGN thing. So you take the monkeys, and then you take the monkey butts, and they go on power lines. No, but you have to go pick a bunch of bananas, and then you put the rum in the bananas, and then it goes to a shop, and then you have to, like, employ yourself at this shop, which you need a white apron to do. So, and there's an apron in the shop, but you can't get that until after you do that. But anyway, so yeah, pretty alright quest, pretty decent. It's a classic. Definitely one of them I remember specifically for Kanjar, the island, is, like, there's not a lot going on there, but it's a pretty good fishing spot, that's for sure. But, other than that, there's not a whole lot going on there, but it is memorable for that quest and for fishing. But yeah, so yeah, I like that one. It's a memorable one. Has some humor. You wonder why everyone wants to get drunk in this world. So, Prince Ali Rescue is a classic quest. The king of, or the prince of Kalred or whatever, the desert area there, gets captured, so you have to make a wig and like a disguise or something, and so you have to go around again gathering some materials, but like it's kind of cool. You have to get this guy to make you a wig, and then there was something with the witch. You have to get her to make you like a skin paste or something. I think you have to get a dress or something for the prince, so he looks like the person who captured him. And then you have to get clay to make a key print of the mold of the key to the cell. And then you have to get that guy drunk again, so that he'll tell you information or something. Or so that he's indisposed, so that you can actually like smuggle out the prince. And you have to get ropes so you can tie up the lady Katrina, I think it is, or Katrine or something. He's like this member of this gang, basically. Or I think that's the Black Arms gang leader. I don't remember what the other girl's name is. Catherine, maybe? I don't know. Something similar to that. Anyway, she took the prince. You have to go save him, basically. So, through doing stuff, all that stuff. So, and it's like this jail cell near Draenor village? I don't know how you say that. Anyway, you always kind of wonder about, because it's got all these strong guards near it. I also used those guys for a little while to farm experience, but they ended up being like pretty strong, so I kind of strayed away from them for the barbarians. They're better, in my opinion, farming method for skill levels there. Yeah, so Prince Ali Rescue was a good one. Classic quest. The Restless Ghost. Okay, I do remember this one. Yeah, it's a quest that's like right there in Lumbridge. So you just kind of, I think you run around Lumbridge for a little bit. You go and see this coffin. You get this ghost amulet so you can speak to a ghost, and then he tells you, I think his remains are at like the wizard tower there. So you go to the wizard tower and you take his skull. And then a skeleton like raises up or something and tries to fight you, but you can just run away from it. And then you take it back to his resting place, and then you finish the quest. It's a really easy quest, but yeah, decent, pretty cool beginner's quest there. Not too bad. Romeo and Juliet is a classic quest. I always remember that one from this game too. Takes place throughout Varrock there. Basically, you just go back and forth between Romeo and Juliet a bunch of times, and they tell you, okay, go and do this thing, and now you need to go get the potion from this place, and you had to like make this potion off these berries or whatever. It's like a sleeping potion. You know, it's very much just like Romeo and Juliet. It's cool to see something like that interpreted into a quest in a video game like this. Like, I know they have like the Camelot quests too, which, you know, like are in the member area, but that's cool. You know, I like when games do that. They like interpret classic stories into quests like this. You know, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I like that. I appreciate that. Decent quest. I like that one. I think it's fun, and it's just funny to like see Romeo and Juliet interpreted through the Runescape thing. And at the end, Romeo actually goes for one of Juliet's friends, because, like, I don't know, like, It's so stupid. Anyway. Like, come on, they're supposed to end up together. At least they both don't die, as far as I remember. But, so yeah. Rune Mysteries is a pretty easy quest. I think it just kind of gets you to starting the rune crafting skill, which I never really did much of because I didn't really understand how to do it. So, and I guess in free-to-play it's really not that easy to do anyway, so I'm kind of glad I didn't do it. But yeah, so I don't even really remember much what happens on that one. Let's scroll up and look. Talk to the Duke at the Lumbridge Castle, then you go to... then you take a talisman to the guy at the Wizard Tower, and I think he makes you, like, go back to the other guy, and then, like, it's just, like, a run back and forth quest. It's okay. It's not anything special. Nothing to shake a stick at, but I think it gets you some decent experience somewhere, so not too bad. Sheep Shearer, which is a really, like, easy quest to do. You just go and get a bunch of 20 balls of wool. You could shear sheeps, and you just go and give them that, and it gives you a bunch of crafting experience. So, easy quest. One of the OG, like, you know, you're here in Lumbridge, you know, get this done in 10 minutes kind of quest. So, Shield of Arav, which is a pretty interesting quest because it's one of, like, 2 quests where you actually need a partner for the quest. So if you don't have any friends, it's kind of a tricky thing. Like, I remember back in the day, you know, obviously there was a lot more people playing and it was a lot easier to do the quest, but I remember doing that back in the day, needing somebody else from the other gang. There's 2 gangs rivaling, and you need one from the other. One has to have the key, and then by the end you get 2 halves of a shield, and your partner will get the other 2 halves, and you trade them to make a full shield or whatever. So yeah, it's a fun quest, but it's a little bit frustrating for the fact that you need a partner. I literally got into this group chat, basically. That's a feature you can do in the game, is like a clan chat or whatever. That was like specifically made for this and the one other quest where you need a partner. So, which is interesting because this is an MMO, but it is very much a single player sort of MMO in a lot of ways, which I very much appreciate because, you know, like, I don't necessarily need to have people play this with me all the time or whatever, and it's nice to just be able to get on and do my own thing, but it's also nice to have online functionality as well. I like the aspect that it's not too ingrained with, you need a bunch of people to do all these quests and stuff and whatever, but at the same token, it is nice to have people there. And a negative too, because they take your resources too, like when you're trying to mine or fish or something, and there's like a million fishing's not that bad because there's always a bunch of spots for that, but like mining is just like, it's a pain in the ass when there's like 2 other people trying to mine the same spot that you are, the same 4 rocks, and it just doesn't work out. So yeah, but anyway, so talking about Shield of Arav, I guess. Pretty good quest. It's just, it's a little bit frustrating to have to be so reliant on one other player to go through the quest with you. And I'm glad people are still dedicated to this game, because otherwise that quest would be like really impossible. And I would have had to have gotten like an actual friend in real life to like play the game long enough to do the Shield of Arav quest or whatever with me. But I do like it because it's like, you know, it's kind of an interesting mechanic. Like, your friend goes and gets the warehouse key, and then they trade you the key so that you can go into the warehouse and steal the crossbows and fight the guy in the warehouse. And then you trade each other the halves of the shield thing there. I think it's cool. I mean, I like it. I like the concept. It was a little annoying to do. It was the second to last quest I had to do this time around, just because, like, I needed somebody to do it with, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah. But I like it overall. Vampire Slayer, which is a good quest. I like that one. Basically, you just go into Draenor Matter there, and you get an oak stake from a guy, and actually that might have been the guy that you need. Yeah, okay. This is the guy that you have to go to the bar there and buy him drinks, and then eventually he tells you about this, and then you go and get a steak and like a couple garlic and like, you know, the classic vampire killing stuff there. So anyway, so yeah, you go and you do all of that, and then you just go fight the vampire, and then you don't have to do anything with him until he dies. It's kind of like the other one too. Oh, on the Demon Slayer one, you have to recite a thing, so you want to remember the thing, otherwise it doesn't work, and he just you know, like resurrects or whatever. The vampire is very similar. You have to have the oak stake and the hammer and the garlic in order to kill him at the end there after you defeated him. But he's like level 20 or 30 or something, so it's actually kind of difficult if you're not like a high enough level to fight him, you know. But I like that quest. I like Draenor Manor as an area. I think it's so cool, and it just is like this classic like horror mansion vibe, you know. I like that. And it has, like I said, some of the point-click aspects, you know. It's kind of calling back to what RuneScape's playstyle was kind of derived from. So yeah. Witch's Potion, which is just a quest where another gathering materials quest to like make a potion. You need an onion, a rat's tail, a piece of burnt meat, the one time you can ever use like a piece of burnt meat, and an Eye of a Newt. And then it gives you magic experience. It's a pretty easy quest, but you know, good enough. So yeah. And then the last free-to-play quest is X Marks the Spot, which I like as a quest because it's very interesting. Another mechanically interesting quest. You go and you get this thing from this guy, and then it tells you like you have to walk here from this spot, so like a certain amount of paces, like down and over, like south and east and whatever. And then if you dig there, you'll get this orb. Or you'll get a thing, and then somebody else gives you the orb or something. And then the orb, it tells you if you're hot or colder to the actual treasure, which you just like keep going, and you like look around, and then like it'll lead you to this thing, and then it keeps going, and it like once you find that treasure, let's see. Yeah, you get a scroll, and then you get a casket or something, and then it gives you experience. It's just like a whole treasure hunt. It's kind of a cool cool concept for this, and you know, digging up buried treasure and whatnot. It's just it's interesting. It's a nice little easy beginner's quest there. Uses a little puzzle solving, you know, kind of stuff there. So that's all of the quests. Let's count how many that is, actually. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, no, I don't even need to do that. Here, because there's a feature here somewhere. Let me see. Yep. Quests completed, 22. So there's 22 free-to-play quests. I'm level 51. Like I said earlier, I guess I've logged 70. Oh, it says right here actually 3 days, 5 hours, which is 77 hours. Yeah, so that's fun. All right, so yeah, so that's all the quests. I feel like there's a lot of, you know, right there. That's all free. You get all of that for free. You can do all of that plus all of these skills that I've been talking about for free. Everything I'm talking about right now is all free stuff that you can just do. Just get on right now, create an account, and you can do all of this fun shit for free. That's what's great about it. And, you know, like the member stuff, yeah, it's a little more depthy, but as soon as you finish, like, free-to-play, you'll know if you like this game or not enough to want to be a member, you know, and I like this game a lot, so maybe at some point. I just don't want to waste my money. I want to have it at a time where I can use it, you know? So I talked about the inventory. We'll see if there's any other skills I need to talk about. Talked about attack. Oh, hit points. Hit points is another thing that goes up every time you're attacking anything in any of the 3 attack styles. So, and then that's your hit points, obviously. Mine right now are 40. Talked about mining. Smithing I talked about. Well, I kind of talked about smithing. So, mining, you just go up to, you know, rocks and you mine them. So the materials that you get from that, you can usually combine into ores. Or those are ores. And then you combine those into bars. So you can have like iron bars, bronze bars, and then from there, with a certain amount of bars and a certain amount of smithing experience, you can make, you know, mail or items, swords, daggers, all that stuff, pickaxes, in whatever material you're making. And as you level up, you're able to, every level, you're able to make at least like 1 or 2 more things, you know, so. Yeah, so that's how smithing works. And all of these things you need to be at a specific spot to do. So you need like an anvil for making stuff. You need a furnace for smelting the stuff. And sometimes those are kind of far apart. Like originally what I was doing was there was a place outside of Varrock that has ores. So I would go there, do all of that. Then I have to run back to Lumbridge to smelt them, and then I have to run back to Varrock because that's where the anvil was to be able to make stuff with it. So, and there are teleports and stuff with the magic skill. I guess we could talk about magic. Once you get to, you start off with a free Lumbridge spell teleport that you can do every 30 minutes. And then there's just like, use runes in this game. It's kind of why it's called like Runescape, I guess. Use runes in order to do the magic. So like there's fire runes, there's water runes, all of the elemental runes. There's like chaos and death runes and law runes. All these runes like go towards certain things, and you have staves which each have an element too. And those are all free, infinite amount of whatever rune. It's like if I have a fire staff, it's infinite fire runes, but every spell requires like 2 or 3 runes, so you're gonna have to, you know, obviously use runes regardless, but you find runes kind of like everywhere and you can buy them. It is expensive to buy them, but one of the main perks of leveling up magic is obviously it's one of the 3 combat things, like I said, so some enemies are going to be super weak to it. But also, you can do teleports, so like now that I'm level 25 magic, I can go to Varrock for, here, let's just go to my, my spell book here. I can go to Varrock for 1 law rune, 3 air runes, and 1 fire rune. So like, let's say I didn't want to use the air runes and I had an air staff. I just equip that, and then I just have to pay 1 fire rune and 1 law rune to be able to go to Varrock there. So that's worth investing in, I guess, for that, and because it's like a sort of a ranged, you could shoot your spells, you know, far off or whatever. So that's kind of nice for that. I'm more of a slash things with the sword kind of person myself, but you know. I do know that it's an important skill, because sometimes you'll have to like switch between skills and stuff, so like combat with swords and like magic and like range stuff too, so. Fishing, which I talked about, ranged, which I haven't done anything with, but I talked a little bit about it. Cooking, prayer I talked about. Crafting, that's mostly for like rings and jewels and like leather armor and stuff. So like, I don't know, I haven't used that much. I have like a 9 in crafting, probably specifically only with experience from the sheep shearer quest or whatever. So yeah. Okay, so 2 skills I didn't talk about yet, because they're pretty useless skills, honestly, are fire making and wood cutting. So there's trees everywhere, and there's different like levels of trees, you know, kind of like every other skill, where you level up to which trees you can do. So if you have an axe, you can cut down trees, and then you can burn those logs, and based on you burning those logs, that's how you up the fire stat or whatever. They're pretty useless stats. They're really not meant for much. I mean, you can make fires anywhere, so that you can cook stuff anywhere. I mean, that's like really the biggest draw to that. But you can do that right off the gate, so you need a tinderbox and logs to make a fire, but it's not really that valuable of a skill to invest into. You know, it's alright. They're okay, I guess. But, you know, those are the other 2 free-to-play ones. So, and then there's the member skills, which I said I wasn't going to talk that much about member stuff, but I'll just say what the member skills are. There's agility, like I said, that helps you with, like, running faster and longer and stuff. Herb lore, which I think is, like, an alchemy thing, or not like alchemy, but like, potions and whatnot, you know, that kind of thing. Thieving, which is just like pickpocketing people and stuff. Fletching, which is like making arrows and stuff. Slayer, which is like fighting high-level monsters and stuff, you know, like certain monsters and that kind of thing. Farming, which I honestly don't remember what that does or how that works. I mean, I assume it's for food and whatnot, you know, like similar to fishing, maybe. I don't know. Construction, which helps you build your house, which when you're a member, you can buy a house. So that's pretty cool. And then the hunter thing, which you hunt animals or something. I don't remember exactly how that works. Actually, yeah, I didn't really talk about my time as a member because I don't really remember a ton about it. But later on in high school, early high school, my friend Kudron got back into playing RuneScape, or was into it anyway, and he's like, "Oh, what? You're not a member?" And he's like, "Well, mainly the reason I wasn't a member was because, like, like my mom doesn't like to put her credit card online or whatever. Didn't like to back in the day. Like, still new to the internet and whatnot. She was a little weary about that, and that's good. I mean, that's good to be weary. So, she would have never, or I don't know. Maybe she would. I think I did ask her before, and she just didn't want to help with that. But Kudron, like, I think his uncle or like his grandpa or something, like, paid for his every month, and as long as I would pay him the $10 or whatever every month it is to do it, you know, he would, you know, let me be a member basically on there, you know. But I don't even remember. I don't know. I think anyway, so yeah, so I was a member for a little bit there, and I did have a job at that point. I mean, I had a job since I was like 14, so yeah, it wasn't too hard to pay him for the membership, but I was a member for like a little bit, and I don't really remember a whole lot of it, honestly, but it'd be interesting to get back into it and see how that is, at some point here when I'm more set for some time or something. Let's see, what else haven't I talked about? Is there anything else here? Magic we talked about, friends. Yeah, they have like emotes in the game that you can get from doing different stuff. Music. You can listen to whatever music you want at all times, like from the game, you know, that you've unlocked or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's just like a charming game, like I said. Like, it's got a lot of good humor and good dialogue. The dialogue is always like really well written, I feel like. I like the animations and the character art style. I just love the art style. I know it's a little simplistic looking, but it's cool. I really enjoy it, you know? The land design, too, is cool. And the music just brings such life to this world, you know? It's so good. It's so memorable, too. It's so much fun. Super good. And it definitely brings the right vibe to, like, every area. I really enjoy the music. Anyway, it's just a great, like, MMO, and it's free, you know? And you get to feel like you're on this epic adventure, because you are on an epic adventure, you know? Like, most of the time, you're on an epic adventure, and that's great. Alright, so, to end, I want to show you guys my character and maybe, like, my stats or whatever. So let me log out on here, and then I'll log in on the phone. Then we can maybe show you, like, the mobile version, too. Let's see. And it automatically goes, like, this way. Excuse my, screen, like, my cracks in my phone there. My Pokemon Go wants me to know that an egg is hatching, because it always wants me to know that, so. So this is my character here. You can see that she has no eyes. That's how they always look. When you talk to people, you actually have eyes. Oh, don't attack that guy. Here, let's just talk to him. I could wave to this guy over here. Hello. Oh, I'm attacking him. Okay. But anyway, you can see you just kind of tap on stuff, and it works out. And you can zoom in, zoom out, you know, like, just like you could on the thing there, here. Let me show you, like, see, like, look at the little, it doesn't show up very well, but you can see, like, the faces and stuff. Anyway, I don't know. I find the way the dialogue goes, like, really charming too. But it's like, you know, and then you got the little mini map up there. Another cool feature is if you hit this little thing here, you have like a world map, and you can just like scroll around and like look at it. And and that's what I was trying to say is on this version you can't like move while you're doing this, but on the other version, you can click on stuff on your mini map while you're here, so that you can like look at the map and follow along while you're walking. I mean, you can't click on the actual world map itself, but you basically get, you know, the experience of that. I like that. Anyway, let's see if I can. How do you? Oh yeah. So there you go. You can see like my character and all of her stats and stuff, and get closer. See the light. It's like... Anyway. Anyway, yeah, so that's my character, and she's awesome. It's a great game. RuneScape's great. I don't know what else to really say about it. It's super good. Lot of fun, RuneScape. Very addicting. 77 hours into the game there. Because it's just so, you know, cool. It's so chill. You know, you just go, you click on something, you click on the fishing thing, and you just fish while you're doing other stuff. You know, like, I'm probably gonna go eat something here in a second, but you know, while making my food, while I'm just standing there doing nothing, I'm probably gonna like go and click on some enemies to fight them or something, you know, because it's just so on the side. You can just do it with everything. RuneScape goes with life. I'm just kidding. But anyway, you know, it's like, it's nice. You can make so much progress just by clicking on things and like stepping away for a second. It's so good. And I know that sounds kind of lame, but like, I love it. I love how AFK it can be, you know? You still have to pay attention, but you could be doing other things at the same time. You could be playing other games at the same time, and you're making levels in RuneScape. I know that's been like compared, there's a guy who compared that to like a cookie clicker, and I'm like, yeah, I guess, but it's cool. It's like a very well, you know, established cookie clicker. It's got its own lore and a whole world and whatever. It's just such a cool game, and it's so nostalgic. I love RuneScape, and I don't find too many flaws with it. Maybe the running thing is like a flaw, but like obviously they want you to pay for a membership. Maybe that's like the real flaw, is that you have to pay for a membership to like see most of the thing. But they gave you so much good free-to-play content. 77 hours of free-to-play content that you could go play right the fuck now. For plus, probably, if you've never played the game, plus, definitely. Like, I know a couple of things, and I kind of, you know, was able to do a couple of things faster because I already knew about them. So, you know, it's so much good content right there. What game can you say I can go play 70, you know, plus hours, 80 hours almost of free content, you know, that doesn't require you to pay anything, right? So go play RuneScape. It's really good. Everything about it's good. I even love the graphics. I don't even care. They're awesome. They're charming as fuck. So the whole game is charming as fuck. That's the rating. Charming as fuck. No, but I'll give it a 9.5. I think I want to give it like a 9.7 or something, but I don't know if I can do that. You know, 9.5 out of 10. And that's just the free-to-play experience. I mean, imagine what the member experience is going to be like. I mean, I fucking already loved the free-to-play experience, which is just like the base, like that's baby's RuneScape. Like, imagine the content beyond this. Like, you know, there's like thousands of hours in there, I'm sure. And anyway, I'm excited to see that, and I'll review some of that maybe down the line, or I don't know how the fuck that's gonna work, or maybe once I finish 70 years from now, once I've finished all the RuneScape content, I'll come. It's RuneScape membership, and they'll be like, you know that like 70 other billion quests came out since then, and they'll be like, I can't keep up with these damn kids anymore. I don't know. Anyway, it's RuneScape. It's fucking awesome. So good. So, yeah, go play RuneScape. If you find me from the channel, add me. It's Emmy Dream Walker. EMI Dream DREAMWLKR. So, yes, add me on RuneScape, and we'll hang out and do Shield of Arav together or whatever. I don't fucking know. Fuck. RuneScape's the shit. So, until next time, this has been JZNES saying keep it classic. Stick around for more reviews, underrated games, MMOs apparently. And I'll see you guys in the next one. RuneScape out.